Yo, welcome into another ChrisBeCappinn Show episode. On today's episode, we will be jumping into the San Antonio Spurs and the CLE Cavaliers. And we're going to do just that, man. Try to make this a pretty quick breakdown of these two teams. So let's just jump right into it. Just a quick reminder before we get started, these two per day NBA team previews will finish on the 15th. You guys can see I'm, holding true so far. Today is day number 4. Cleveland Cavaliers and San Antonio Spurs. Tomorrow will be Detroit Pistons and the Sacramento Kings. Then Pacers and the Portland Trail Blazers on Saturday and so forth. So NBA preseason did actually start today with the Boston Celtics and the Denver Nuggets in the Abu Dhabi game. You also got Lakers and Timberwolves a little bit later on tonight. We'll see how those goes. Probably won't bet too much preseason NBA, but we'll see. If there's a couple spots I absolutely love, I'll send it out to the members for sure. So let's jump into it, man. San Antonio Spurs, first team we'll talk about here. San Antonio Spurs last year, they ended up going 22-60, straight up 44-38 against the number last season. Of course, they trying to implement Victor Wembanyama into the offense with Coach Greg Popovich, probably the greatest coach in the NBA, in NBA history. And this team still has they didn't really lose anybody, as you guys can see here. Dominic Barlow, which he played well for them in the few games that I did watch him play, and then Devontae Graham as well. The guard who came over from the Pelicans is also no longer on the team. But they go out, they trade for older, Harrison Barnes to try to bring in some veteran leadership. Of course, that was the one thing that this team really lacked last season. They were the youngest team in the NBA, I think, by far. I don't even think it was really that close. They also, somehow get Chris Paul to come be a part. I thought Chris Paul would try to go to a contender, as on his way out. We know that Chris Paul has been playing basketball for probably close to 2 decades now. I think this is year number 18, 19, 20 for him as well. So you get a veteran point guard in Chris Paul. You also go out and draft Stephon Castle. I think they took him with the 4th overall pick. I want to say, 4th overall pick. He's a point guard that I think is going to work really well. A UConn point guard that's going to work really well with Coach Popovich. He loves, from what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing, he loves to be coached pretty hard, and we know Pop, doesn't really shy away from that. So I think he's going to fit this offense pretty well, and probably be a cornerstone piece for this team moving forward. To kind of tie in with Victor Wembanyama, and what better point guard to learn from than Chris Paul? Absolute blessing for him to be able to learn behind Chris Paul as well. The other 2 guys, Juan Nunez, I think is how you pronounce his name, and Harrison Ingram. They picked those guys 36 and 48. I'm not too familiar with either one of their games, so I won't say too much about them. They also, re-signed Charles Baisley last year, and Slava, I just call him Slav. He also will continue to be a part of the roster as well. But, the Spurs team, I think, just kind of looking at, I guess we'll go strength of schedule next. They finished with the 6th most difficult. They finished the year, like I said, at 22-60 last year. They do have the 6th most difficult schedule. 15 back-to-backs is the 2nd most in the NBA this season. 16 is the most. 11 games they have the rest advantage. 9 games they do not. And I'm not thinking that plays too much of a part with them being so young. You still got a Devin Vassell. You still got a Keldon Johnson, who's the longest 10-year player on this team. Devin Vassell will be injured to start the season. I think that's important to know. But Jeremy Sohan in his 2nd year as well. Like, this is a team that, is supposed to do a little bit better this season. You can see the odds on the right-hand side, 150-1 for them to win the championship. I think they're going to do that well. To win the division, 34-1. I don't think they'll do that well either. But their regular season win total at 36.5. To me, it feels kind of appropriate. You don't really have to know a lot about basketball to know that, I said that they finished 22-60 last season. The books have been projected to get, right around 15, 16 more wins, for this coming season. And I think that's possible. I definitely think it's possible. I also think it's priced appropriately, though, which is one of the reasons I didn't really like to jump on the Spurs in any way. So I won't have a best bet for the Spurs as of yet. But I'm interested to see how this team plays. Victor Wembanyama to win Defensive Player of the Year. I'll look a little bit deeper into that, to lead the league in rebounds, something like that. I think Victor Wembanyama has another really, really good year, kind of getting his feet underneath him. And the last thing I'll say about the Spurs, just to kind of, support, them in their win total being increased. After the All-Star break, I did look into this. They finished 11-16 straight up, 19-8 against the number after the All-Star break. If you compare those numbers to before the All-Star break, they were 11-44 straight up and 25-30 against the number. So you could kind of see that bulb kind of click with this team, after the All-Star break, where they were a lot more competitive in games. Let's keep it moving on to the next. The Cleveland Cavaliers are up next. This is a team that really kind of bet on themselves and pushed all their chips into the table and gave a lot of chips out to these players as well. Very injury riddled last season. They finished 48-34 straight up, 38-42-2 against the numbers. And they were, a team that was very, very injured last season. Despite that, though, the team still managed to, like I said, win 48 games. They finished number 4 in the Eastern Conference, reached the Eastern Conference semifinals before losing to the, championship Celtics. And they were, injured in that series. Donovan Mitchell had a really good series, really good season. He averaged 26.5 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds, and 2 steals before the postseason started. So they go out and they don't really add a lot outside of firing Coach J.B. Bickerstaff and replacing him with Kenny Atkinson. This team is going to look a lot like they have looked in the past. They re-signed Jared Allen, re-signed Donovan Mitchell, re-signed Evan Mobley, and they drafted Jalen Tyson, who they actually are really, really impressed with just based on what I'm reading. He does have a nice versatile game. He can do a lot of different things as far as scoring off the ball. He's a pretty good passer. I think he has to work on his jump shot a little bit, but I mean, they're saying that he can shoot it a little bit as well. I'm interested to see how much he cracks the rotation this season with Coach Atkinson. They took him with the 20th overall pick. Like I said, the only person they lost on the whole roster was J.B. Bickerstaff from my notes that I saw. So this season, just kind of looking based off media day reports, Coach Atkinson he wants the team to play fast. So you can expect more pace, and he wants the team to get up a lot more three-pointers as well. He wants Donovan Mitchell to get a lot more easier looks. He talked about increasing the catch and shoot opportunities for Donovan Mitchell. And that's what, if you know who Coach Atkinson is, that's exactly who he is. He comes from a Mike D'Antoni system back in the day. I think it was like 2011, 2010 maybe, where he was on that coaching staff with him, with Coach Mike D'Antoni when they were part of the Knicks together. And he spent the last 3 years in Golden State helping them win a championship in the 2022 season with Steve Kerr. So, I mean, yeah, he's going to try to come over and implement a lot of what they've been able to do and that was successful for them. As far as strength of schedule, they do have the 12th easiest. You guys can see that. Rest disadvantage 10 times, at the advantage 9 times. So not a lot of significant difference there. They do have a league high 16 back-to-backs, but this is a pretty young team. And I mentioned the injuries. I do think the Cavs are going to be pretty good if they can avoid the injury bug this season. The good thing is they're still pretty young. Donovan Mitchell's the oldest of any of those players that missed time last season, 27 years old. Darius Garland ended up breaking. Well, I think he broke his jaw and couldn't eat. He had to eat up a straw for like a few weeks. I think I remember that last year. So yeah, they kind of pushed all their chips in the middle, and they think that this roster is good enough, to compete. Regular season win total sitting at 58.5 for this Cleveland Cavaliers team is pretty high. I'm actually thinking that that's probably a misprint. I don't think I meant to write that. I think that probably is a misprint. I don't think that they're sitting at 58.5 regular season wins, but I want to double check that real quick because maybe I did write that. Maybe I was rushing a little bit and wrote that. Let's just double check it real quick. 48.5 should be this number for the Cleveland Cavaliers win total. Not 58.5. So my apologies there. This is a Cleveland Cavaliers team that I do think can win 50 games. When you're betting on this team, you're really betting on them to remain healthy though. I mentioned, them, kind of believing in what they have, and they won 48 games last season. So you asked them to win 2 more games, and I thought that they would have got the 2 more games if they were healthy last season as well. So I'm a little higher on the market than the Cavs are. Then the books are 48.5 is -112 over on FanDuel is the best number that I see available. I would probably be playing the Cavaliers up and over their win total. But like I said, it's really just based off the strength of them being, healthy throughout the entirety of the season. But this is a really good defensive group. We've seen them, really lock teams up, whether they're at home or on the road. And I think we see more of that this season. So I like the Cavs. I do like the Cavs a lot this season. I'll figure out how I play them on a night-to-night basis, but one of the teams that I'm higher on as long as they can stay healthy. I like the addition of Kenny Atkinson. Thinks that he helps them find some easier offense as well. And that'll be it for these two teams. Just real quickly, resources that I use to handicap some of these games that you guys may be interested in, especially if you're new to sports betting. OddsJam is an absolute amazing resource. You can get 20% off your first month using referral code CBC, and the money ball of 50% off using ChrisBeCappinn, 2 P's and 2 N's. Link for the description of both into the video. The link for both of those are in the description of this video. And definitely shoot me a DM on Twitter if you guys are having you have any questions about either one of those as well. And that'll be the show. If you enjoyed it, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Link for all my official bets when I do place them is in the description of the video, as it always is. Best of luck on all your action, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. I'm out.